Hi everybody. Today I want to talk about my health, some things that I've learned, and then I'll talk a little bit about my history and my story. I think both are kind of interesting. I guess everybody's lives are interesting, but mine definitely has some plot twists that are interesting. So my health. The last 2 weeks has been, I'm just going to say, pretty difficult. And it's not like completely understandable why it's been so difficult. I don't totally understand it. I think I understand it better, and I think that people that are watching this, looking for health answers, this may actually be one of the answers for them. So I know that for a long time, I think I was insulin resistant, and I'm pretty sure I had diabetes. I'm very high blood sugar. I'm sure. I'm pretty sure now I don't have diabetes. I have much lower blood sugar. I know because I eat very little sugar at this point. Very little carbs, except for my birthday last week. I did eat some sugar. I ate some cupcakes, which was kind of nice. But it's interesting because over the last months, I've noticed that sugar necessarily is not like doing me wrong like it had done me wrong before. Like before I would eat sugar, I would immediately have to go to the bathroom, and then I would just have physical effects that were less than savory, let's just say. But I wasn't eating a lot of sugar, not this time, and I was still having some difficulties. And I think I figured out what it is between Gemini and Chat GPT and the internet. I think I may have figured out what has been causing me the problem, or at least part of the problem. And I'm not gonna like make you wait till the last minute to figure out what it is. I'm just gonna tell you. I think I had too much salt in my diet. And there's a lot of things, sodium, and there's a lot of indicators that have pointed to the fact that I had too much sodium in my diet. And there's just a lot of effects on my body that would have made sense for sugar, but it made more sense for sodium or salt. I had I can eat sugar and not have like the weakness in my legs and just you know just obvious degradation in my physical strength. And and again, I'm not eating like a ton of sugar like I did a long time ago. It would make sense if I did eat a lot of sugar and I had these problems, but it's just not the case. But then I started having more problems. I'm eating a lot of ground turkey at this point, and I actually do put quite a bit of salt in ground turkey because ground turkey is delicious. It doesn't have a lot of flavor, and it does taste better with salt in it. So I think maybe I was over salting it, and quite frankly, I think I was just getting too much salt. I started looking into I pulled up my Walmart grocery bills, and I had to like really calculate out what my salt was in the stuff that I was buying and eating, which I did that before with sugar, and that didn't make a lot of sense, not considering the problems that I was having. And and then I did this last couple of days, this last week, started looking at the salt that I've been eating. And what's interesting is like it doesn't seem like I didn't like sit down and eat a ton of salt, but over the day I was eating quite a bit of salt. I would eat I would eat a couple of slices of American cheese with a couple of tortillas, a couple of flour tortillas. That alone right there is 500, 600 milligrams of sodium. And that was just those two things. That didn't include any peanut butter with salt in it that I ate, or any tuna that had salt in it that I ate. I started calculating up all of the stuff that I was eating, and I realized that the sodium that I'm supposed to be eating is like, I don't know, 1,000 to 2,000 milligrams a day. I think I was eating even more than that, just a little bit at a time, just eating more than that. I wasn't eating enough potassium to offset the salt or to help my body deal with the salt. So my health just got worse and worse, and it got difficult enough where I had to sit down and seriously look at my diet and figure out what the heck was going on because I wasn't eating a lot of sugar. That would have made sense. And I don't drink anymore, so alcohol isn't an issue. That wasn't that wasn't a problem. So now I'm actually on an extremely low salt diet. I do eat a little bit of salt because I think I need a little bit of electrolytes, but I'll eat like a sprinkling, like a little sprinkling of salt instead of like a shake of salt. And I do eat this. I don't have it right here, but I eat this. What is it called? Bidea seasoning. It has a little bit of salt in it. It has like 90 milligrams of salt in it. I didn't realize that a half a teaspoon of salt is like 1,000 to 1,500 milligrams of sodium. That's a lot, considering I could eat that 2 or 3 times a day, and then I end up eating like, I don't know, 2,000, 3,000 milligrams of salt. And if I don't eat enough potassium to offset that, then it causes physical problems, high blood pressure. I'm trying to figure out if I need to get one of these cuffs. I think one of you guys may have mentioned that previously. I'm thinking about maybe buying one of those, a blood pressure cuff, and trying to figure that out and see if that would help me kind of manage this a little bit better. But actually, instead of that, I'm just really, really going down on salt, like way down. I mean, I think I'll probably end up eating maybe 200 milligrams of salt a day, if that. I'm not eating my tortillas anymore, which those were 250 milligrams of sodium for just one tortilla. And again, like I said, I could eat 2 or 3 of those in a day with a slice of American cheese, which is another 100 milligrams of sodium. I just had the ability to eat like a ton of sodium. And I think that, and I'm thinking that sodium was maybe a bigger issue in my diet, my health, than the sugar even. Like if I eat like regular food thinking I'm eating healthy, I'm eating ground turkey, and if I have burgers, I would eat a burger and I would salt it good. And I like salt. I've always liked salt. Even when I was drinking alcohol, I would like I would like dirty martinis, I would like margaritas, anything with salt in it I really enjoyed. And that goes back a long ways back. But I just always liked salt. So when I eat salt on ground turkey, I I am now just sprinkling a little bit of salt on it, which actually works good for me. But previously, I would liberally salt my turkey just to give it some flavor. So now I'm trying to use garlic and a sprinkling of salt and very low salt, very low sodium seasoning. I'm trying to use that eating instead of eating just sodium as my main season. So that's something that I think is not groundbreaking, but that's something that I think I realized and figured out that may like really, I don't know, maybe help excuse me, maybe help me catch up with my health and maybe get a little bit better. I hope. And I hope it's fast too, because this has been such a difficult couple of weeks. And I know I say that every week, but man, this has been a tough one. And I thought it might have been just because of the sugar, but I stopped eating the sugar completely and things didn't get better. And things actually continue to get worse. So it got like super hot in New York. You can see I'm in a tank top now. Or not a tank top, I don't even know what this is called. I'm in one of these muscle shirts. And it got to be like 100 degrees. I think it's going to be 100 degrees today. And I think it's going to be pretty hot for the next couple of days. But I guess it's kind of nice because it drops down to 70s at night, which is not unbearable. Like 72 degrees at night is kind of difficult, but when it's 100 degrees during the day, 72 at night isn't so bad. I think most people have their air conditioners on. And I do have an air conditioner, but it's a window air conditioner. I can't really push it out the window. So I don't have air conditioning right now. I don't really need it too bad. But it was weird well, especially I don't think I need air conditioning considering the fact it's been like negative 40 degrees at night for the last two winters. And I don't know if I'll ever need air conditioning again, honestly. My my phone did this weird like missing person alert the other night, which was very strange. I mean, I guess that I'm glad that there is that capability, but it was kind of annoying because there was some kid maybe like 45 minutes north of here that disappeared. They decided to send the alert out at 10:30 at night, so it was like 10:30 at night and dark, and I'm sure everybody's in bed, and there's this like weird alert on my phone that I didn't even know what it was until I woke up in the morning and tried to figure it out. But it was kind of weird. I didn't know what that alert was about. Missing person alert. That was a strange thing. So in the last month, I've actually gained 10 pounds, which is, I think, good news. I think it's really good news. I'm starting to feel a little bit more like, like I'm starting to feel a little bit better. I wish that I could get over this. I think this sodium thing quicker. Um, and the AI that I talk to on my phone says that it could take like a week to 2 months for my body to catch up and resolve the sodium problems. I'll be super happy when that resolves, and I'll be coming on here and letting everybody know that hopefully that was the part of the problem, and that it's resolving. This actually makes a ton of sense considering I had problems with hot dogs, which are super high in sodium. I had problems with bologna and luncheon meat. I had all those problems with all those super high sodium foods that I was eating. I guess what didn't make sense is when I was having problems drinking milk, and when I was having a problem with oats and the potatoes. I don't know what the heck is up with those. I'm gonna have to figure that out because I'd like to be able to eat all those things and I can't. So yeah, I'm thinking that I had such high sodium that was what was causing a lot of my health problems. And I've always eaten a ton of salt, so that could make sense. I mean, I've always eaten a ton of sugar, and I've always eaten a ton of salt. And I guess those two things together could have like definitely made my situation, my conditions much worse. But now I'm eating very little sugar, and now that I'm like cutting out the salt, hopefully things will start resolving faster. So now I want to talk about my family history. I don't talk much about my family and my personal history on this channel because I didn't know if people would be interested. I so my family is originally from Florida. I'm from Florida. I was born in Melbourne, and I lived in the Orlando area and the Tampa Bay area my entire life until I got older and went into the Navy. And then, of course, I moved to Virginia Beach and went into the Navy. I was there for a couple years. So when I was a kid, I was adopted by a stepfather, and my name changed at that point. And that kind of didn't, I guess, work out in my family. So when I came back to Florida from the Navy, when I left the Navy and came back to Florida, which I did do, I went back to the place where my grandmother lived, and that was in St. Augustine. And I had a very long conversation with her, and I'm glad I did because it gave me a little bit of background on my family history that I didn't completely have all the history, and I'm glad that I figured this out. So so my family was from St. Augustine, Florida. Well, yeah, St. Augustine, Florida. That's where my grandmother and grandfather were. But I think my family originally was from this place called Electra, Florida. It's kind of weird there, and I've been to this place. It's now pretty much a ghost town, is what it is. There's very few people that live there, and even ChatGPT said that Electra, Florida was a ghost town. It's a ghost town, and it's a and there's a not a cemetery. There's a graveyard there, and I've actually been to that graveyard. That's where I have family members that are buried there. And when I went there, it was kind of it was crazy because my real last name is Sellers, and and when you go to Electra and the graveyard, every grave in Electra, for the most part, is Sellers. Like the whole every stone has somebody Sellers on it. Like I said, my grandparents are there. My aunt's there. There's just hundreds of Sellers there, and it's weird walking through with my last name being Sellers and seeing like almost every grave in the graveyard was Sellers. So I guess my family um, actually, well, they were in that whole Ocala area hundreds of years ago, and a lot of them are buried in that Electra graveyard. So I'm pretty disappointed that I'm not going to be able to eat my tortilla sandwiches anymore. I was really enjoying eating those tortillas with a little bit of peanut butter and a little bit of jelly, like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, just in tortillas. I really enjoyed it. But I guess the problem is that those tortillas are 250 milligrams of sodium each one. It was just too much for me. I really hate that. One of the things that makes me like really feel like I'm having sodium problems is my eyesight got so much worse. And I guess I don't totally understand it how it works, but the fluids in your body can give your eyes problems. Just your blood pressure, I guess, can give your eyes problems. And I was definitely noticing that it caused me a lot of problems. So I'm hoping that cutting down on the sodium is going to make my eyesight get a little bit better. I hope. But yeah, back to Florida. Like I said, my family came from St. Augustine. My entire family, I think, settled in the Ocala National Forest and in that area in Electra. And St. Augustine is where my grandparents settled. But there was places in that Ocala National Forest named after my family, which is kind of cool, I guess. But it's a little spooky. Like there was Sellers Road, there's Sellers Lake, and then the Electra Cemetery, like I said, there's hundreds of Sellers there. Like I don't even know if there was anything but Sellers there. And I guess supposedly when I end up passing, I have the ability to be buried there, which I may actually be buried there because that's where I know there are a couple of family members there. And, I'm not religious. I think I've said that before. But if there is another side, I want to make sure that I'm there with my family. But yeah, I'm just waiting now for this heat to ease up a little bit. And then I'm sure it's going to be like freezing cold right behind it, which I'm not like looking forward to that. That's not going to be very fun. Hey, if you guys have any questions on anything that I just said or anything that I brought up health wise, or you want to know more about my family history, do me a favor. Leave the questions below. I answer all questions. Hope you're having a great day. Thanks a lot for watching. Hey, if you're a subscriber, thank you so much. If you're not subscribed, please consider it. And again, I really appreciate you watching. Have a good day. Bye-bye.